There was a leak for the PS5 Pro, which at this point is the industry's worst kept secret, and it detailed like how the design would be, certain specs about it. One reliable source didn't really reveal the price, but there is speculation of what the price could be. Now, before we get into this, it is worth to point out that this is something that should be taken with a big old grain of salt until it's confirmed officially by Sony themselves. This was something that was posted by an anonymous user, which does show the PS5 Pro, which this is the design that it seems like that they're going with. Now, as far as the picture goes itself, somebody could easily put this together in Photoshop and said a $5.99 for the digital and $6.99 for the disc. Says the announcement is slated for September 9th via blog post, have a December 6th release date, and have a $5.99 price tag for the digital, $700 for the disc. The disc drive can be removed and attached to both digital and disc version, and mentioned that the SSD is still 1 terabyte. Now, my problem with all this is the price. You're going to charge $600 for the digital and $700 for the disc. Meanwhile, we don't know anything that's been coming out for PlayStation, and you got everybody saying wait till E3. And I would expect that Xbox try to launch their own version of a mid-gen refresh, whatever they end up calling it. But people have been begging and demanding PlayStation release a PS5 Pro because they think that, oh, a lot of these consoles can't hit 60 frames. There are certain games that can run on PS5 at 60 frames. And as a recent memory, people look at certain games that aren't able to hit 60 frames. They want to blame the console instead of the developer. Even though I've stated this before, I think developers can get a good chunk of the blame, because if some games can run at 60, then why can't every game run at 60? And the fact that people are wanting to pay $600 or $700 for this, when we don't know jack shit what's going on at PlayStation in terms of the games that they got coming out other than Astrobot, which, not saying it's going to be a bad game. That's a game I am looking forward to, but come on, we need to know the sauce. If you're going to do something like this, at least charge for both like $550. If you have to charge more than the base PS5, have the digital be $499, the same as the PS5, and have the digital at $550, instead of just doing a humongous price jump of $600 and $700. Or hell, if they want it to be really competitive, even though I don't think this is likely, you can get the digital PS5 Pro for $350 bundled with Black Ops 6 or NBA 2K25, whichever game that PlayStation wants to partner with to sell their console at the end of this year for the holiday season, if it does come out at that time, and have the PS5 Pro disc version at $400. That way, when Xbox does come out eventually with their own mid-gen refresh, they're going to try to compete for that price. Because if they come out with a $600-$700 mid-gen refresh, they're going to get cooked, and people are going to flock to get a PS5 Pro. And I think if they really want to knock PlayStation gamers socks off, if they're going to do this, if they're going to go with $600, $700 for these consoles, then at least cut the base PS5 that's already out by half, or like drop it to, I don't know, $350 or $400. On top of that, give us updates for studios that's working on games. We know of, or at least have a good idea, that Sucker Punch is working on a sequel for Ghost of Tsushima 2. We've only heard of rumors of what Blue Point could be cooking up. As for Naughty Dog's next game, that may not come out till sometime towards the end of the generation. Sony Santa Monica have been rumored to be working on a sci-fi RPG in space or something like that. But the point I'm trying to make with this, we need to know something that justifies, or would justify, somebody spending that much money for these consoles. And what would be the marketing push for certain games? Would it be, oh, you could play these games at a standard 60 frames or above? Now, I don't think they need to slap 8K on the box. No, please don't do that again. And I don't see no point for myself to buy a PS5 Pro when, one, I can play all of the PS5 games on my base PS5 and they could still hit 60 frames. And whenever a game don't hit 60 frames, I know who to blame: the developer. Because when has a developer ever stated that, oh, the PS5 is holding gaming back from hitting 60 frames? Not that many times. If anything, we typically would end up seeing a 60 frames patch down the road. And the sad truth of the matter, people will go out and buy a PS5 Pro just because they want to hit 60 frames and think, oh yes, now we finally got a console that can achieve 60 frames or even more, have a higher resolution and refresh rate, all the other jazz. But here's the problem. Y'all did this with the PS4 Pro. We get a PS4 Pro, guys, we can play games on 60 frames. And guess what people did? They said, oh, now we need a PS5. And we get a PS5. Oh, now we need a PS5 Pro. Y'all doing the same thing y'all did before last gen. Only difference between back then and now, we at least knew what PlayStation was cooking. With that being said, y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Till next time, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.